Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam, and today I'm going to be talking about how I landed a software internship at Apple, as well as my experience studying computer science at Tufts. I'm currently a junior, double majoring in computer science and child studies. And believe it or not, I just decided to major in computer science last semester. And as you can imagine, I'm really behind. Like, I just finished taking intro classes. So basically, I went into my freshman year thinking that I was going to major in computer science right off the bat. One, because my parents really wanted me to major in computer science because they knew how lucrative software engineering could be. And who doesn't like money? Two, I really like tech and the idea of creating and contributing to something that people would actually use. Well, in the grand scheme of things, it probably wasn't the best decision to put all my eggs in one basket, just because it set my expectations for myself too high and then it made failure even worse. So my freshman year, I went ahead and took 2 CS related courses at my school, which were Intro to CS and also Calc 2. And as someone who has zero coding experience and someone who isn't math oriented, I really struggled. My freshman year was probably the worst time of my life. Not only was I dealing with challenging courses, I was also dealing with transitioning to a college lifestyle. I was spending all of my free time trying to code my homeworks, which as a result made me feel really socially isolated all the time because instead of going out, I'd be doing homework. And on top of that, I thought my grades were really bad, but honestly, looking back, they weren't even that bad. I was still stuck in the high school mindset that I had to get an A, and anything below an A wouldn't suffice. A little after midterms, I probably had a mental breakdown, if I'm being honest. At that point, I was like, I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, I need to find a major that's easier than computer science. And so I made the rash decision to drop my CS major, and I told myself I would never go back to it. My freshman spring semester, I took a child studies class and I really liked it. It was interesting, but most importantly, it was really easy. I made child studies my major, and also because I felt like I was running out of time to decide on a major, even though realistically, I had another year to decide. Of course, no decision of mine could go without overthinking. I would constantly think, what am I gonna do with this major? I don't want to be a teacher. I actually really don't like kids. So what am I gonna do? And I would remind myself, I probably wouldn't make enough money in the future with this major. These thoughts consumed my mind for my whole sophomore year, and I really started to regret my decision to drop CS. I would always wonder what my life would be like if I just persevered my freshman year and stuck with it instead of psyching myself out. During my sophomore spring, my boyfriend, who's also a CS major, encouraged me to try CS out again, even though I was probably 2 semesters behind everybody else in my grade. I did the math and I figured out that I could do the major and graduate just on time. I went out on a limb and gave it a shot, and here we are. Now, since I'm pretty early in this major and I've only taken a few courses, I've never had an internship and I don't have real industry experience as a software engineer. As a junior with no prior internships, it's been difficult trying to pull a position in a big tech company or any company for that matter. And the only experience I had was volunteering for a CS club at my school where I contributed to an app, but that was mostly just front-end development. Basically, all summer and all this semester, I've been mass applying to software engineering internships, both paid and non-paid, and I haven't gotten any acceptances or offers. Well, obviously that changed. At my university, we have an online forum called Piazza where people can post about job opportunities for both full-time and internship positions. One day in November, around like a week before Thanksgiving, I saw a post that interns and full-time candidates were wanted for the Safari team at Apple. Of course, I thought there's no harm in applying, but I probably wouldn't get it. I basically emailed the engineering manager who posted it, and I said why I was interested. She responded really fast, and she said she'd pass along my resume. And a few days later, I got a text from a university recruiter at Apple just to basically set up my first initial phone screen, which was with a full-time Apple employee on the team. That interview went pretty well. The person who interviewed me was very nice and very clear of his expectations for the interview, and he was just overall just very understanding and very welcoming. In terms of difficulty, I would say this phone screen was around LeetCode easy. I really only had basically a semester's worth of data structures, and it was on hashing, so it wasn't too difficult for me. A day later, the university recruiter reached out again, and she said that they really liked me and wanted to give away their last interview availability before the Thanksgiving break. And that second phone screen would be with the engineering manager that I initially reached out to. I was definitely more nervous for that second phone screen because one, I never made it past the first round of interviews, and two, it was with the manager, which would obviously make it a harder interview. This interview also wasn't that bad either. If I'm being honest, it was a little harder, but it was definitely manageable. And the manager was really nice and gave off a really good vibe. And at the end of our interview, we're usually asked questions. I basically told her a little bit about my CS journey, and I asked her if she had any tips for someone new to CS who was trying to break into the industry with little experience. And she really encouraged me to keep trying, even if things didn't work out. And honestly, her response to that, it made it seem that I probably wouldn't have gotten the internship. Later that week, probably on Friday of that week, I was out eating with my boyfriend when I got a text from the university recruiter, and she said, "Are you interested in hearing some good news before the holiday?" And I was absolutely shocked. I really couldn't believe it. I got up in the middle of dinner and hopped on a call with the university recruiter, and she basically offered me the internship. And even now, I still can't believe it. I question, do I really deserve it over other people who have more experience than me? Will I even know what I'm doing during this internship? I'm not even that good. I've only taken intro classes. Although this imposter syndrome consumes me, hopefully this opportunity will prove that I am deserving of it, and that I am smart enough, and that I am capable of succeeding in this industry. Now, I really hope that my internship this coming summer in 2021 will be in person, because I really want to explore California and see what it's really like to work at a big tech company, you know? If I had to come up with a few takeaways, it would be definitely take your time as a freshman and explore your options and possibilities. Don't follow my mindset of thinking that you have to know everything right away and that you need to know your major, because that just narrows your options and sets your expectations too high to the point where you'll let yourself down. Another takeaway would be not to worry and just to let things happen, because everything will just eventually fall in place. Even if everything feels like it's going to shit, it'll all work out in the end.